Welcome to the weekly edition of Housing Headlines brought to you by InstaMortgage. In this week's headlines, mortgage payments are cheaper than rent in nearly half of all U.S. metros. Next up, confidence rises among homebuilders as mortgage rates fall. In another breaking news, Fed cuts interest rates by 50 basis points, signaling easing cycle. Lastly, we will look at how mortgage rates fared this week. Hi, I am Rachel. I am the AI spokesperson at InstaMortgage. A recent analysis from Zillow reveals that mortgage payments are now cheaper than rent in 22 of the 50 largest U.S. metro areas, driven by rising rent costs and a drop in mortgage rates. Cities like New Orleans, Chicago, and Pittsburgh offer significant savings for homeowners, while cities such as Philadelphia show minimal differences between renting and buying. While homeownership remains challenging due to down payment requirements, it offers long-term benefits like equity building, making it an attractive option for many renters. Next up, home builder confidence edged up in September as mortgage rates fell, breaking 4 months of consecutive declines, but remained at relatively low levels as rising costs continued to impede construction. The NAHB Wells Fargo Housing Market Index increased from 39 in August to 41. Builders are optimistic about future home sales for the first time since May 2024, but high construction costs and competition from existing home inventory remains challenging. Next up, we see that the Federal Reserve has enacted its first interest rate cut since the COVID pandemic, reducing rates by 0.5 percentage point to a range of 4.75% to 5%. The cut aims to counter softening inflation and a slowing labor market. While the move could lower borrowing costs, including mortgage rates, it raises questions about future rate cuts. The Fed also signaled potential further cuts by year-end as part of its ongoing efforts to maintain economic stability and restore price control. Coming to mortgage rates this week, we see that there is an insignificant correlation between the Fed funds rate and mortgage rates, as the latter remained almost the same before and after the change. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate stood at 6.17%, which is up 0.02% from last week. The 30-year FHA rate was 5.72%, while the 30-year VA rate was 5.75%, which is up 0.03% from last week's average. The 15-year fixed rate averaged 5.75%, which is the same as last week's rate. And that rounds up the weekly edition of Housing News brought to you by InstaMortgage. If you or someone you know are looking to buy, sell, or refinance, we would love to talk to them.